I really enjoyed this chapter because it was just kind of neat to see the strategy and how Naruto was kind of played by this little girl.
Naruto number 21, A Meeting in the Forest.
Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesome and the tantalizing and the excellently woven tale of Naruto. Our last chapter really saw, it was kind of a flashback chapter in the sense that it really showed us why Inari, at a young age, is kind of so messed up in the head. Obviously, the loss of his father and it happening in this brutal way right in front of him. But the end was really the profound part. It was when Naruto declared he was going to go out training again, train through the night, whatever he had to do, because he was going to prove to Inari that there are still heroes in this world. So that's where the chapter left off, and that's kind of where it picks up. It actually says on the 6th day of training, and we wind up seeing kind of this back and forth thing in the morning, and Naruto is passed out in the middle of the woods, and then we go and we see this thing where there's this person getting ready and everything like that, and we wind up finding out very quickly it was kind of a dead giveaway by the look on her clothing, his, whatever. Haku, the servant or underling of Zabuza, had come out and I kind of disguised herself, I guess, or whatever. But they almost look like sideways question marks that were on her. The pattern of his, whatever dress, actually is the same pattern that was on the mask that was being worn. And obviously no one, at least Naruto, didn't pick up on it because we wind up finding out. It kind of goes back and forth a little bit between everybody's back at the house, Sasuke and Sakura and Kakashi, and they're like, where's Naruto, And they're like, well, he was out training again all night last night. Ever since, Tazuna told us that story about Inari's father, he's been training all night long. And they explain how, if he uses up too much of his chakra, he could actually kill himself. Excuse me, but Kakashi winds up saying, listen, don't worry about it. He's not a danger to anybody, including himself. He really is a full-fledged ninja. He says, he goes, he can be goofy sometimes, but he's a full-fledged ninja. So this whole back and forth scenario goes on, and really it takes us back into the forest. And as it takes us back into the forest, we see this girl hunched over Naruto, kind of kneeling over him and putting her hand over closer and closer to him. And it appears almost that she's going for his throat at first, and he's sleeping. He's just passed the funk out, right? So anyway, she winds up going and just kind of shaking him awake, and asking him if he's all right. And we wind up, he talks to her a little bit and finds out, she's like, why are you sleeping and why are you this and that? And he's like, you're the crazy one that was out at the butt crack of dawn going and getting all this, gathering this stuff in the woods. And then I thought, to me, I found this a humorous thing because he goes, are you sure all these herbs and weeds are medicinal? And that's always one of the things about, oh yeah, I got weed, but it's for my glaucoma. It's for medicinal uses, And I just thought it was a funny little inside joke. At least I took it as an inside joke because he's just like, are you sure all these weeds and herbs are medicinal for medicinal purposes, not for recreational use? And anyway, so she talks to him a little bit, and like I said, they alluded to it and showed it. I mean, if you go back and look at the chapter anyway, who this is and whatnot, so there's no real mystery of it. But the fact that Naruto didn't pay any attention to it is kind of a little disturbing, I guess. But anyway, he runs into her in the forest, and apparently he offered to help her, I guess, very early in the morning, collecting some of these things, and wound up just kind of passing out because he's been up all night training. So she's asking him more and more and kind of delving and diving in there for more information, wanting to find out why he's training. And he's like, well, because I got to become stronger. And so why do you got to become stronger? You already look very strong. And he, no, not at all. And he goes on to explain about how he has to become stronger so he can basically show everybody back in his village, all these people that were mean to him and hurtful and shunned him and treated him like garbage, that he is the best, that he is better, that he is, and that's right now anyway, that's his goal, you know what I mean? Whether it's short term or long term, in his mind it's going to be short term, but he's going to become greater than the Hokage, So very cool stuff in the sense that you kind of get this whole manipulative thing. She's extracting information from, So then you go and you see her talking about, where she asks if he has anybody special and this and that, and he's like, what are you talking about, and it seems like she's just flat out like asking him like, hey, you want to date? And then she winds up going and talking about having someone special and this and that. And she goes into a little bit of a flashback, and it appears that that she was this little kid kind of curled up in a corner somewhere for whatever reason or other, and then Zabuza, you know, found her, came upon her. Now, I don't know if it's going to be that her parents were killed and he happened upon her, or if he was tasked with killing her parents and then wound up just kind of taking her in as a small orphan. I'm sure that'll all be revealed soon enough, but we see that there's the connection, and it gives us the obvious, oh, okay, she's the one that's working with Zabuza. She's not just some random girl that he ran into in the forest, right? So then she goes, and as she goes and tells him about this and that, and people care, and people you should care about, and what you should do, as she's walking away, and she's got what appears to be a dress on, and I know that that the Japanese culture and whatnot, sometimes they can wear some different things that are questionable, the robe type things that you don't know if it's a man or a woman's you know, clothing attire, right? Even sometimes the color patterns, and so you can't base it off of that. So I understand that, but this straight up looks like a girl's dress, you know. And as she walks away, she goes, "By the way, I'm a boy." And Naruto's like, "What? What the hell?" You know, thinking in his mind, "What the hell is going on?" You know. So that's kind of the whole interaction with that. And then we wind up going, and it says, you know, on the 7th day, you know, and they're going, they're looking for Naruto, and they can't find him again, of course, you know, he's been out training all night again, blah, 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 you know, and next thing you know, we hear him, he's like, "Hey, guys," and they look up, and there's Naruto, and he's up in a tree, and I mean, he's high up, man, he's about 50, maybe 60 feet up in a tree, you know, and he's just got a big old shit-eating grin on his face, and you can see all the marks leading up to the branch that he's on, and even higher up on the trunk of the tree, you know, and he's like, I did it, I finally did it, you know. So as he's getting up to go and talk about how he did it, this and that, he kind of starts to like slip and fall, you know, and they're like, "Oh my God." And, you know, Sakura's like, "What, that idiot?" And Kakashi's like, "I can't catch him in my weakened state," you know, and that's what he's kind of saying, like alluding to. And then Naruto goes, and right as he's about to fall, he goes and he like sticks his feet onto the bottom of the branch, and he hangs upside down. He's like, "Haha, fooled you guys, huh?" So he obviously learned how to not only climb the tree with that technique and using his chakra, but then actually was able to hold on upside down, which I thought was cool, you know. And that really, that's the determination. That's the difference to me between a winner and between a person who's just trying to get by. A winner, right, a gold medalist, for instance, with the Olympics going on right now, a winner or a gold medalist type attitude is somebody who trains every day and every night, and when they feel like they're exhausted and they're going to pass out, that's when they train harder. And these are things that I learned from when I was in the martial arts, because my father was the one that got me into it. And even though we were in like the suburbs over here of Chicago, they weren't as hard on kids, I suppose, because they just want to see, you don't want to piss off any parents, and you want to make sure that everybody, even the overweight kid or the slow kid or the kid that only shows up once a month, can feel special. And it's all about that, making everybody a winner mentality, which can be good and bad, and it's a video for another time. But one of the things that my father always taught me is just because you need to know X, Y, and Z to go and promote yourself and to get to the next belt, the next level, right? You want to be the best person in that particular training class. So if there's 8 or 10 of you that are at this level belt, and they're going to go, when you're going to do your testing, your board breaking, your forms, your free fighting, and everything like that, you want to be the absolute best. And if you're not the best, wait until next time and don't go and get promoted. And that's what I always learned. So it was always about pushing yourself beyond your limits. In our black belt class on Friday nights, we used to put on 10-pound ankle weights, and we would run back and forth around the plaza, the back in front of it, where the dojo was located for the Taekwondo. And it was like 4.8 miles, like 5 miles. We'll call it 5 miles. Then after we got in, right, it was Master Kim. It was actually his son, Daang, who was, he was a ball buster. We would get in. You wouldn't even have a chance to grab a drink of water and catch your breath. He'd take the ankle weights off for a second and stretch a little bit, right? Put the ankle weights back on, and we would do dozens of jump kicks. And you know how hard it is to do a jump kick, how your legs feel like rubber after you run for 5 miles, and then you got 5-pound weights on you? Holy shit, man. Oh, and then you go in, and it was funny, because then after you did, you were at the point of exhaustion, you just wanted to die. He'd say, "Okay, take ankle weights off," and you take the ankle weights off, right? And then he'd be like, "Jump kick, ready, jump front right side kick," you know, and you go and do this. And you felt like Michael Jordan, man. You would just hop up in the air because your body was so used to having to jump with that extra weight on it that now that you took it off, it's just like when they train in pools for resistance and stuff like that. You come out of the pool, you're faster. Same thing with this. You jump higher, you know. So sorry for that little side note tangent there, but just made me think about that because Naruto is pushing himself and pushing himself. And to do this and to be able to catch up and to be the best at this particular exercise or training, training thing that they're doing. So very cool stuff. Anyway, then he goes and he actually does slip and start to fall for real. At the last second, Sasuke was running up the tree. He grabs on and hangs out with his feet underneath, and then grabs Naruto. And he's like, "Aha, Sasuke to the rescue!" Right? And that's kind of how things wrap up for that portion over there. You know, Kakashi's happy with how everything's going with both of them, and then the chapter winds up ending shortly after that. We get 1 or 2 pages over here. We get actually it's kind of cool because we get Kakashi and he's back at the house, and Inari's sitting there looking all sad as usual, and you know, Tezuna's like, I kept meaning to ask you, even after you found out that I pretty much, like, you know, I pretty much buffaloed you on this and told you one thing, and obviously it's another one, just 'cause I couldn't afford the type of, you know, shinobi that I actually needed, and that this is way above everybody's pay grade. Why did you stick around? And I really like this quote from Kakashi, right? And he goes, he goes, "To know what is right and choose to ignore it is the act of a coward." So to know what is right and choose to ignore it is the act of a coward. And I thought that was very profound. It was one of those lines that I definitely like, and one of those things that in the early chapters here I really grip onto and I like. And maybe because of my background in the martial arts, I don't know. I just know I really liked it. So after that, we get kind of a not even one page, couple of panels over here. He talks about how he's gaining his strength and he's pretty much back to 100%. And then we go and we see Haku and of course Zabuza, and Zabuza goes and he's got this apple and he just like crushes it in his hand, and they're like, "Oh master, your strength is returning," you know. And then he winds up saying, "Let's get going, Haku." So we know that the shit's about to go down pretty soon, and that obviously Kakashi and Zabuza, it's certainly their first meeting wasn't going to be their last. So that's how the chapter ends. And certainly, you know what, I would like to know, weigh in on the comments section. My chapter question for you is, what are your thoughts on Kakashi's, you know, one line over there and how that was done? You know, it just, what are your thoughts on it? Simple, plain and simple. Leave it in the answers down the comment. Leave your answer to the question in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look forward to catching all of you in the next one, nation. So, if you could, like, ever get around to drawing some Naruto pictures for your Naruto reviews, that would be great.